What if I told you that you have superpowers? That we all have superpowers within us? That all we need to do is cultivate them by practicing some skills and strategies to let them shine and let them be in a presence of peace and calm amongst all of the challenges around us? What if I told you that these superpowers help us become more resilient, help us bounce back from challenging times and experiences to survive, but not only to survive, but to thrive, to grow and evolve with changing situations? What if I told you that the way to unleash these superpowers is as simple as practicing some techniques for a few minutes a day? The coaching tip for today is to unleash your superpowers, to unleash your superpowers in a way that can help us navigate the new normal. The new normal is going to change maybe every day, every minute, and we need to be able to go with those changes to shift and pivot so we can manage them and we can, again, not just survive, but to thrive. So, how do we implement that coaching tip to unleash the superpowers? We do that by establishing a practice that we will realistically do every day. So, my suggestion for you is ask yourself, how many minutes a day will I dedicate to the practice of these techniques to unleash my superpowers? If you've never done this before and you say 1 minute a day, that's 100% more than you ever did it before. If you want to practice for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's your choice. It's your choice. But what's most important is that we dedicate a time that is realistic and doable in our lives. So we set ourselves up for success. With this technique of and coaching technique of unleashing our superpowers, now we're going to transition into a practice that can help us get there, that can help us do that. We've practiced a few different breathing techniques together in my other videos, and now I'm going to introduce you to a technique that's called 1 to 2 ratio breathing. And what that means is we're going to practice having our exhalation be twice as long as our inhalation. So, why do we do that? Well, when we breathe in, we're triggering our sympathetic nervous system. That's the part of our nervous system that helps us respond to challenging situations or stressors. When we exhale, we're triggering this other part of our nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. And when we do that, we're sending a message to de stress. We're sending a message out the body and our nervous system that all is well. It helps us calm the nervous system to help us be resilient and to bounce back from challenging situations. So, with this breathing technique, it's as simple as counting as you breathe in and counting as you breathe out. So, we're going to start by coming into a comfortable posture. You can sit or you can stand, you choose what feels good for you. And we're going to begin by bringing our attention to our breathing. Now, remember, this only takes a few minutes. You could even just do this for 60 seconds. But right now, let's bring attention to the breathing. And for the next few in breaths, as you breathe in, please count to yourself and notice how long the in breath is. There's not a magic number. The length of your inhalation is going to be different than mine. So, right now, let's practice breathing and counting to yourself. Now, if you'd like to, you can close your eyes for this practice just to start bringing your attention inward. I'm going to close my eyes for a moment and I'm going to count to myself with my next few breaths, count to myself, and just notice how long my in breath is. So, here I go. All right. So, the number may change a little bit, it may fluctuate a little bit, but it should settle into around the same number. So when I was breathing in now, as I was breathing in, when I counted, I was counting to three. It was four once in a while, but then it was really mostly three. So that's the number I'm going to keep in mind about how long my inhalation was. With this breathing technique, now what we're going to do is we're going to count to that number as we breathe in. So for me, it's going to be three. And as I exhale, I'm going to practice having my exhalation be twice as long. So I'm going to breathe into three, and then I'm going to exhale to the count of six. If you were breathing into five, you'll exhale to the count of 10, and so on. With this technique, as with all techniques, if it doesn't feel comfortable, you don't have to do it. Just keep on breathing. Okay. So, again, close your eyes if you want. Remember that number that you counted to as you were breathing in. And we're going to practice maybe 3 or 4 times, counting to that number as we breathe in, exhaling to a number that's twice as long. Now, if you want, you can breathe in through the nose, or you can breathe in through the mouth if that's more suitable. And as you exhale, feel free to exhale through your mouth with just a little bit of sound, like a sound, not super loud. Okay. So let's practice 2 or 3 times. So when you're ready, rest your eyes, close them if you want, or maybe just look down towards your lap or the floor. And as you breathe in, count to yourself. And as you breathe out, count to yourself. If it's comfortable, do this one more time. All right, let the counting go. Let the counting go for a moment and just notice and observe how this made you feel. Just check in, pay close attention. What words can you use to describe how this made you feel? Building on this technique, we're going to practice holding the breath before we exhale out. And we're going to practice holding the breath for one count shorter than the exhalation. So, my example before was as I was breathing in, I was counting to the count of three and exhaling out to the count of six. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to inhale to three, but before I exhale, I'm going to hold my breath to the count of five because that's one count shorter than my exhalation. So, I'm going to breathe into three, I'm going to hold for five, and then exhale to six. If you were counting to four as you were breathing in, you're going to inhale to four, hold the breath for 7 counts, and then exhale to the count of 8. Now, if you've been told by a physician not to hold your breath, then I don't recommend this practice. Then you can just continue having the exhalation be twice as long as the inhalation. Okay. But otherwise, if it's comfortable, let's practice this technique for maybe 2 or 3 rounds, see how it feels. And again, if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Just let your breath flow naturally. So let's begin. Standing or sitting tall, close your eyes if you'd like. I'm going to close my eyes so I can concentrate on the counting. We're going to begin. So I'm going to breathe into three, hold for five, and exhale to six. And let's do that again. You count to your number. How about one more time? Let the counting go. Let your breath flow in a more comfortable rhythm. If your eyes are closed, keep them closed for another few moments. Keep them closed and do a check in. Do a check in with yourself and notice how this makes you feel. Notice how it makes you feel. Now, this is a technique that you can weave into your day. Or this is something you could do maybe for just a few minutes, a few rounds, maybe 3 or 4 rounds in the morning as you wake up. And as you go to bed at night, you could do this for 3 or 4 rounds. at the end of the day. At the end of the day. So, and notice also if you do choose to practice this technique, and I do encourage you to play with it, see how it makes you feel. What I encourage you to do is, today I was counting into the count of three, but later on today, my in breath may be shorter, it may be longer. I don't know. So pay attention to that and just notice. Don't assume that the number you got to today is the number it will be later on. Okay. So again, that's 1 to 2 ratio breathing. But then we also built on that and held the breath. And why do we do this? First, we do it to make sure we're breathing. We also do this because we want to trigger our parasympathetic nervous system, sending a message throughout the body that all is well, to help us manage stress, de stress, and cultivate our ability to manage situations, challenging situations, with resiliency. So we can bounce back, pivot back to where we were, and not just to survive these challenging situations, but to help us thrive during these situations. So I encourage you to play, to experiment with these different techniques, observe how they make you feel. Notice how doing this helps tap into that superpower that we have to be calm, to be centered within challenging situations and release and unveil those superpowers that lie within us. So, thank you for participating today. If you enjoyed this class, feel free to share this information with your friends, your coworkers, your family members. If you have any feedback or comments, let me know, send me a message. And if you want more information, you can learn about these techniques and other offerings at my website, ellenrobertsonwellness.com. Thanks so much. Have a great day.